Part two of the mayhem and videos. I try to work hard to get smarter and better every year. I'd like to be smart like these NASA students and being able to do scientists and talk about other subjects, but I only get to the basic material because I don't get enough public exposure and I don't have enough people to talk with, so I'm making all these video documentations. They're like basic journals of skits and all kinds of information. I'm trying to help the public, but it seems like nothing we can come up with because there's not enough fast enough actions. But what about all that news that you can buy medals online, or people are having minors serve the military because of all this corrupt in the world? There's always other doorways. People can open doorways and serve our country, but either way it boils down to, you need to pay them paychecks. We can't do everything and volunteer our time when we're not getting money. Bills cost money. Build all these new homes and new schools that you already got dozens of homes and dozens of schools in every county. Why do you need to build 5 different schools for one school district? So just add on to the building and not creating more money. If you're getting overpiled with students and you're getting people overpiled with homes, then you need more jobs. But you're not giving us more jobs and building more buildings for people to work at. There's only so room in every city or state. We can't just build everything 24/7. People got to travel hours just to work at their jobs. And that's just the people that are rich and have transportation. What about all these people that don't have licenses but can work for a living and willing to work, but they don't have the right skills? What if people are high school dropouts? Either way you look at it, public's not going to make it in society a whole nother 10, 20 years if you don't change the way you're doing things and let people work for your country. Bad people generally don't impersonate officers. Bad people don't impersonate soldiers. Bad people don't impersonate YouTubers. They shouldn't be out there lying to society, because then that's false advertisement and false reports, and that gets them in more trouble. That's plenty of fines in education to be over $20,000 worth of dollars just in them false advertising. But you people want to dumb things down and let them get away with shit when you could be making all that money back and charging citizens that you arrest. Instead, you put people behind bars for drug charges and let all these immigrants run around and kill people and steal things. Pretty soon, people aren't going to listen to your government or your White House, and they're just going to follow the basic Constitution and the basic rules that have been set in here for generations, and freedom of speech we're already following and not committing bad sins and all this other stuff. People are just going to shoot to kill all these immigrants or all these criminals. They're just going to shoot to kill. They're not going to ask questions. They're just going to train themselves to be prepared for all this crazy stuff that's going on in the planet that we don't understand. In high technology, we can't understand everything at once. But these soldiers are just going to get orders from commanders and everybody else in the field that shoot to kill. Just shoot to kill. Just stab them. Just get rid of them. We don't have enough prisons to put people in. You don't have enough jails to put people in. We have therapists to help people talk out their problems, but that's just new stuff. You haven't even relied on that stuff to get rid of criminals or to better our lives. But if they do the calculations, just like I am, that's hundreds of billions of people can't afford their bills on a daily basis. How do you expect to get all your money back to pay for all your jets and airplanes and gasoline that you're selling to your companies? You're making plenty of money off of the customers. So how do you sit back there and say you don't have money when you make billions and billions of dollars a week? Every freaking week, you're making billions and billions and billions of dollars off of all these businesses. You got to start giving back to your citizens. If not, you got to hire other jobs and put out there more jobs. The more jobs and money you put out there and giving people, the more taxes you get back. The higher pay you give out, the more taxes you get back. You already know this information, public. It's just basic knowledge that people know this. Maybe if you stop talking so much and shut up and listen to all our leaders and adults that are out here talking about all this same stuff, you wouldn't be running into so many dang problems. And if you make mistakes in life, give us chances to make up for it. Some of us aren't going to jail because we're not committing crimes. But they're not letting us work at jobs for over 5 years or a year. And you can't build up your status to becoming a manager or a boss at all these jobs. This is technology found from soldiers and regular citizens that all came together and made all these votes and complaints about things. So you decided to change everything for the better cause. But what about all these people that aren't on health care? What about people like me that have Medicaid? I can't still pay my bills, but I'm on Medicaid. That doesn't pay the bills, though. That just gives me money for when I have hospital or surgeries or medication. And guess what? You still got to pay money for your medicine. So Medicaid doesn't really do about a darn thing in the planet. It just certifies that I can pay for ambulances and all this stuff. My Medicaid pays all that stuff, but either way you look at it, I still owe out money. So either way, the public needs better jobs and better positions and better respect for each other, because not all of us can go back to school. Some of us are in our 30s, going to be in our 40s. And we're trying to build families and relationships and friendships. We're trying to build things, but we can't impress each other because none of us have money or permanent jobs, permanent skills, permanent medals, permanent magic, permanent science, permanent faith. You seem to throw away any option that we open up, and that's mental institution as well. You seem to degrade us when food stamps tells us we need to have a job, but then when we go to mental institution and tell them this, they tell us, no, you can't work. You're taking medicine. You're not allowed to work. Well, then when we apply for disability, you make us wait 5 years when bills apply every month and every year. So we're losing our homes just to get medicated that already costs money to even spend on medications. So you're not hustling correctly. These are all bad fines. And if lawyers look at all these cases and people's rights and all their videos that they're producing out here, it's all going to be bad news for the evil and the corrupt. Now, I don't care who's at fault, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, but we're all suffering either side of the way. Either way you look at it, humanity's been suffering because of this. So how can we serve a country? What are we serving out? Arrest warrants for all these reasons on why we're low paid and not making enough money? Because I'll put my signature to sign to that, no problem. I'll serve a country for doing that if that's included. It's all illegal anyway. So guess what? Looks like you all got warrants for all your arrests then, because it's public citizens of public witnesses. They're all witnesses to all this stuff. And they're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to send goons and kill 100 billion people when your government needs their money to fund your speeches and fund your jets and airplanes and fund your limousines and fund your banquets and parties that you host like P. Diddy, and you sign and have pictures taken with each other, and all the government taking pictures with the fans seem to have no problem doing that stuff. But all of a sudden there's all this talk about depopulation and coronavirus killing people off. Now, that might not come from America. Well, that's fine. But then you got to heal America first ahead of what you're healing of other countries. Because I watch the news and you have no problem sending money over to UK or Russia or Israel and all these poor states and poor countries. But America, you seem to put last, but you're supposed to put yourself first. You know the mottos go since high school, and all you politicians are retiring. Is that why everything's getting so worried and fearful and crazy? Because you're all retiring, and you can't even go to college to be a politician. So was that even considered a real job? Because it's not. Not if you study for it. How can anybody study to be a politician when it's not on the college banquet? It's not on the ballot. You can't even vote for higher taxes or higher wages. None of that's on the ballot either. but you still increase rent and still increase prices, and none of that's on the ballots when you're voting and making votes. No, it's just a name on a computer. You either want this person as your vice president or president or government officials. That's all it is. There's no information. There's no respect. There's none of this crap. And we're tired of working in citizenships and living in this country. And you practically made the phone calls to send all these immigrants over here. They're easily tracking. It only takes 5 minutes to arrest all these citizens and arrest all these immigrants with cameras and satellites that you supposedly have, but suddenly you're wasting all the time. How did I know all this when I don't study the information? It's public knowledge, so it's not about who's the evilest or who's the goodest. It's just everybody's tired of living all this stuff and coming up with ideas while you're just coast whipping. And you're the people with degrees and bachelors and all these documents and bragging how much money you have and how much companies you run and how rich you are. But you're not doing a darn thing for your citizens, and we're overpiled. People are practically killing each other just to pay rent. 90% of most of the crimes that are committed is because people don't have money for rent. They're selling each other for human trafficking. This sounds like, the Vietnamese War and all the past wars. Sounds like the same thing, just repeating over like in the Great Depression. And now you want to kill off all these Christians. Well, didn't they do that back in 1400s and all these 1800 years? Forgive me if I got the years wrong, but the point behind it's not wrong. And if you're disconcluding and making fun of Christians, that's deficit of character. Do you got $50,000 in your pocket? Then shut up, because nobody cares. People of faith don't have to save your world or save your planet. Would you like people to start saying that since you don't want people to be friendly? All you do is degrade each other? How about we start saying that? What if the people wanted to say, no, we don't have to serve your country? And you're not going to just throw it to the next person and throw all this same drama onto somebody else. How about we say no to that? And how about everybody says no to that? Why don't you fix all these solutions that you already have problems to before we decide to pass it on to our kids in the next generation? That's how the generation was supposed to do before us. That's why they were serving the country. But now you want to act like idiots and bigots and just sit around and get fat and overdrink and overeat and get obesity and all these problems and all this problems with fuma and pharmaceutical chemicals in our food and pills and water and all this stupid stuff that nobody cares about. Why do you constantly want to do more wrong instead of running the country, man? What do you run by third graders or handicapped people? You got presidents that's running for presidents that have dementia and health problems, but you have no problems taking orders from them. But us regular citizens that put you people into the country, you don't follow any of the orders. You don't even let them talk out communication, which in school we're learned to communicate our problems. It's how you erase and create simple solutions to creating, everything else. When people want their lawns mowed, you put up signs or you contact people that mow lawns. There you go. That's one form of making jobs for people, putting yourself out there using technology, your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube. Put yourself out there. The public sees it. They see everything, and they can hire you when you don't have things. They can hire people to get our licenses back, or maybe we don't even need licenses. If we're super rich, we can afford drivers to drive us around all the time. Or you pay them $20, $30 every paycheck to drive you around, and then they get their gas money. You see how easy that is? Bang, boom, bang. Now we got a better solution. But that's just the gist and end of things. You might want to start being careful, because if people start feeling like me, they're not going to want to serve the country, serve a World War III. They're going to sit there and say, no, why? You're not paying soldiers. You're only paying people that are already educated. You're not paying the dropouts. You're not paying independent contractors, independent YouTubers, independent anything, record labels, management, retail jobs. You're not paying. So start doing that first before you get rid of everything else in the planet.